My name's Keith Roberts. I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm just trying to be the best Christian I can be. As a young adult, I always struggled going to church. I felt like I wasn't worthy enough. I felt like I was being judged because of things I did in my personal life. I also struggled with how to tell people about my faith. It wasn't until I met my wife that started to change. Faith became more important and spreading the word. About 2.5 years ago, my brother-in-law Jordan, some close friends, and I started God, Guns, and Cycles motorcycle ministry. We all just wanted to spread the word in a different way. The ministry always meant a lot to me because I felt like I had found my own way to spread the word. I felt like it made me a better man, husband, and father.
My name's Brent Gully. I'm a husband to a beautiful wife. I'm a father to 2 beautiful children, and I'm a hard-working truck driver. So, I used to be a cop, but I'm not anymore because in 2007, I made a bad choice while I was on shift. It forced me out of law enforcement, and it's something that has bothered me ever since. In July of 2016, I tried to go back and get my certification back, and I was denied. And it killed me because deep down inside, public safety is where I'm supposed to be. I fought with that for a while, and I started giving up on it. And then that's when I came across the wreck scene.
November 26, 2016 is a day I'll never forget. On the way home from my ministry's annual Care for Kids ride, I was in a hit-and-run motorcycle accident. A truck pulled out in front of me, and before you knew it, I was laying in the road, fighting for my life. I hit the truck, flew off of my bike, and came to in the air. I hit the ground, got myself stopped. When I looked behind me to make sure I wasn't going to get run over. And when I did, I saw flashing lights.
I remember rolling up on a wreck scene, and I thought it was just a fender bender. I was even on the phone with Stephanie, my wife, and I was like, well, somebody just had a wreck, because I remember seeing pieces of what I thought a car was still rolling around on the ground. So I knew I'd just rolled up on it. And you know, being a truck driver, a wrecker driver, you see it quite often, so you're kind of numb to it. So I just kind of played it off for a second, and then I saw a man laying on the ground, and I knew it was a little more serious then. And I told Stephanie, I was like, I have to go, and I hung up on her. I pulled through the intersection. I activated my lights on my truck, and I pulled through the intersection, and I blocked off one lane and half the other lane. And the man, he was out in front of my truck, and I didn't want cars coming by, potentially hitting me, the victim, or anybody else standing around the scene. And I walked up to him, and I noticed right away it was pretty bad.
I thought an ambulance just happened to be at the intersection when I had my wreck. I then rolled over to see what was wrong. I knew something was going to be bad, but nothing prepared me for what I saw. My leg was severed just below the right knee and was laying up beside me, and blood was coming out. My first thought was to get on the phone with my wife and let her know I had been in a bad accident and that she needed to prepare herself to get to a hospital. About that time, a man came up to my left side, started talking to me, checking me out, and most importantly, he put a tourniquet on my leg.
There was a lot of blood, and nobody was really doing anything. So I got down and assessing him just to see how bad the total injuries were. So one of the gentlemen standing behind me asked me, he said, "Do you want my belt?" And I said, "Yeah, I need it." So he handed it to me, and made a tourniquet out of it and strapped it around his leg.
I remember being loaded up onto the ambulance and driven just down the road to a college to where they could land a life flight helicopter. Before you knew it, I was at the hospital. I remember seeing my wife for a couple seconds. She gave me a kiss. The next thing I remember was being in a surgery room and a surgeon letting me know that they'd be taking my right leg. A day or two after my accident, my father had gotten word that it was a tow truck driver that was first on scene that night. The flashing lights I saw were his tow truck, not an ambulance. Luckily, from a description that Captain Whaley of the Oakwood Police Department gave us, my brother-in-law was able to track him down.
My dispatcher called me and asked me, were you at a wreck scene the other day in Oakwood? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, well, somebody's trying to get a hold of you and they want to talk to you. Okay, so I got a phone call, and it was from Keith's brother-in-law, Jordan, and he was telling me, you know, how he was doing, and I'm glad he did tell me. He called me and let me know because I wanted to know how he was doing. So, and they wanted to thank me, and I'm not really, wasn't used to being thanked for things that I've done. Not to make that sound like anything bad, but I wasn't used to getting a follow-up on something like that.
A few days later, he came to visit us in the hospital. It was great to meet Brent and his family and express how appreciative we are that he showed up that night and did what he did. Without him, I still wouldn't be around to be a husband and a father of my kids, and I'll forever be grateful.
Talking to his dad, seeing his family, seeing his wife, and seeing his kids, it started growing. And the people that are involved in Keith's life. He does have children, so a dad is still here. A husband is still here, and an only child is still here. So it really started affecting me. Words meant more. Life meant a little more. I've never been affected by anything like this affected me. This isn't the first life that I've saved, but it's the first life that has saved me. After that, after seeing Keith, meeting the family, and everybody else, and everything is starting to open up to me, I realized I was put there to not only help Keith, but to help myself. A few weeks later, I accepted Jesus Christ as my Savior again, and was baptized.
I never questioned God, why me? I knew it was all a part of His plan to draw me closer to Him. It wasn't His plan for me to lose my leg, but He can use it as a platform to spread His word. The more I get to know Brent, the more I know God put us in each other's lives for a reason. And maybe we were both there that night to save each other in different ways.